welcome back everybody. This week we are assembling the welding positioner. So the last two episodes, if you didn't catch those, we're going through the design. This is kind of a parts bin special. I've got some various bargain components, leftover bearings, etc. So we're getting all the parts pulled out. We've got the Brosen motor, some golf cart contacts. It's a real hodgepodge of things, but this is really just trying to get a low-cost unit put together. The things I was waiting on the most were the two main plates coming in from Cut Sen. I had those laser cut. I did not have those tapped, as you'll see in just a moment, but my 3D printed parts are all complete. Got all of the electrical hardware and then the order from Bolt Depot for all the fasteners. So to get this kicked off, I'm starting to lay out the tapped holes. I chose to not have them tapped by Cut Sen. I just went ahead and decided not to save a little bit of money on the parts and get them here a little faster. So we've got a bunch of 1032 holes to tap. I've got them all laser cut on size and they came in very good. So a little tap magic on a tap. I'm going to hand tap all of them. No drama, everything went fine. And I won't make anybody sit through tapping all those holes. I didn't even want to sit through tapping all those holes. So I'll show just a couple of them here. The vast majority of them are on this plate, and then I did go back through with the drill and just sanity check, chase everything a second time. We've got the two plates. This will be the back plate, and it's the front plate. Whatever plate it is, it's a plate. So we're ready to start putting some screws into this guy and assembling it. So without further ado, let's see where I want to start. I want to start with Okay. So you have to forgive a little bit of this. It's very late at night and I'm trying to fumble my way through this. I did get a little excited. I cracked that first bearing piece with the rubber mallet. I had them printed just a little too tight. This is a snafu on my part. I forgot to order or buy springs to put behind the electrical contact, the brushes. And so I just threw some paracord in there thinking that'd be spongy enough to keep a little pressure. Probably, if you noticed in the test, it was a little crackly. I need to get that replaced to make sure that there's plenty of pressure on the brushes. I had a little bit of arcing, but that's an easy enough fix. We'll get that corrected. But anyway, this is what I think I described in an earlier part of trimming down those leads, crimping on some terminals, and then heat shrink. Here's the gear. It did have a blemish where it peeled up off the print bed, but otherwise it turned out pretty decent. And then driving on the bearing. So a quick close-up shot, seeing the brush holder, the brushes installed, the pass-through for the motor. This basically is the backside done minus the bearing portion. The timeline does bounce around a little bit just to try and make the most sense for assembly. Here's the rear plate with the 4 bolts holding the bearing retainer, and then the 4 bolts going through the spacers and into the front plate. So this means the mechanical portion is basically completed, and now it's on to the electrical side. So we got the backing plate that everything kind of builds off of. Now we're going to just montage pretty quickly through the electrical stuff because it's not super exciting. I had this set up on the bench for testing, so it's got the latched push button, the forward reverse direction switch, a potentiometer for the speed input, and then an LCD screen for the speed readout. So those are the items on the top of the 3D printed housing. All right, so minus my impatience in breaking a 3D print, which I will rectify. I can probably add a little clearance to the bearing fits, but that looks pretty good. That's pretty nice. It seems a little fast, but I don't know. We'll know once we put something in and weld it and see what it looks like. But aesthetically, it looks pretty awesome. One thing I will correct, it won't stand on its own without something to clamp it. So it's kind of expected because it's so heavy. So I might add a little outrigger so that it'll freestand. I mean, it'd be okay to clamp it in this position, but a little outrigger here would be enough to, just a little welded tab. Does look like we've got an air gap to the brushes, so I'll get some springs and fix that. That was just a quick and dirty thing. So we will fix that and reprint this piece down here that's broken. Otherwise, it's looking pretty good. Bring you right back. All right. Let's see how round 2 did. A little faceted, but not bad. Much better gear, looking nice. And cool. Let's go put this thing together, hopefully for the final time for a while. So I'm gonna try and be a little more patient and use the arbor press to press the bearing onto the 3D print. I thought I added enough clearance, but the part's still a pretty snug fit. We'll bring it down and send it home, and life is good. I realized it right about here that I made a mistake. A crucial error, one might say. You've got to bolt that piece in, then press the bearing on. And great. So this did not want to pry off at all. I ended up grabbing the reciprocating saw and putting a slit in the part to get it to release from the bearing. That ended up being an okay deal. I might just reprint it with that in there to give it a little clearance. Ultimately, we got it put back together. I think that'll work. Let's go test it out. I like this a lot. It's looking pretty cool. I'm really proud of how this project turned out. So if you made it through all 3 parts, thank you for following along. I can't wait to use it. I've got some exhaust parts that I'm excited to set the TIG up and do some turntable welding, especially after I fixed the brushes. That was an oversight on my part. Honestly, I did forget about it. This was several late nights of trying to get this project wrapped up so that I could use it. And with that, I'm going to wrap this video up here and send it, and I'll see you guys next week. Thank you.